Greetings! Welcome to another episode of Porygondolier. Come on in and take a seat. Shall I put the kettle on? For today's very spiky installment, I've nipped back in time to fetch Overqwil, the evolved form of Hisuian quillfish from Pokemon Legends Arceus, with the goal to answer one big question. When it comes to Red version, is this Pokemon Overqwil? Overqwil is both a sea mine and a blowfish, and here is the sprite I came up with for Gen 1. I'm naming myself Bloat. Drop me a comment if you know the reference. On top of having a really cool design, Overqwil has a rather dangerous signature move, known as Barb Barrage. And since it needs to know this move to evolve from Quillfish, it's only natural that even a level 5 Overqwil must somehow already know it. Barb Barrage has a 30% chance to inflict poison, and doubles its power of 60 to 120 when used on Pokemon with any of these status conditions. Let's try it out on John. Gen 1 miss, really? It also starts with Tackle and Poison Sting, and at level 9 it gets the bug-type move, Pin Missile. I gave it Water Gun at level 21 instead of Water Pulse, and since it's Dark Poison type, for the first time ever on this channel, I've added the Dark type into Gen 1. I mention this because at level 26, Overqwil is meant to get Dark Pulse. The trouble is, that's a Gen 4 move, so it does feel a bit too modern. If we look at its Gen 9 moveset, we find Crunch, which was introduced in Gen 2, so I gave it Crunch here instead. At 29, it gets Sludge instead of Poison Jab, and at 37, Waterfall instead of Aqua Tail. Finally, Double Edge at 47, and Self-Destruct at 57. Which I think we can all agree is just the perfect final move for a naval mine. And these are the TMs it has access to. Now, Special Stat is always a conundrum with these playthroughs, and Overqwil is no exception. In Legends Arceus, it comes with a special attack of 65, but its special defense is 65. I gave this a lot of thought and ultimately decided to set its special stat to 65. Now, I'm feeling pretty confident with Barb Barrage, so I'm skipping optional John, and I'll just take down one extra bug catcher before heading to Brock. It does almost nothing. But not to worry, once we poison Geodude, it'll go down much faster. There's the poison, and he's used a full heal. I forgot about that. Actually, I think he has 5 of those. Long story short, this did not go well. So here I am in my second attempt, having done all the optional trainers, and Overqwil is now at level 11. It's still very difficult, but eventually he does burn through all 5 full heals, and I get Geodude poisoned properly, but I've now used most of my Barb Barrages, and also, even at double damage, it's basically useless. So I switched to Pin Missile and let the poison run its course. But actually, Pin Missile is pretty good. Against Onix, I managed to poison it and Brock whips out yet another full heal. So I guess he has extras saved for Onix? Yeah, this strategy isn't working. Okay, battle 3, and I'm going to see how far Pin Missile can take me. And actually, Pin Missile is great. Even if it only does a tiny bit of damage, it can do up to 5 shots, so the damage is actually quite a bit better than Barb Barrage. Now, every single move I have does damage, so Onix's Bide might be a bit of a problem. And there's Bide now, so I'll go for Tackle since it won't do much. Here comes another Bide, but I've got this, so Pin Missile. Okay, Brock completed in 34 minutes. Could be worse. I didn't really see myself using Pin Missile today, so that was a fun little happening. Now in Mount Moon, I can get the TM for Water Gun, and I'll get rid of Poison Sting. Against the Fossil Maniac's Grimer, I once again find a use for Pin Missile, as it's super effective against Poison in Gen 1. Quite a nice move to have for coverage, really. Honestly, my impression of Pin Missile was that it was just some awful junk move, but look at the damage on this coughing. This is really, really useful. Quite an appropriate move for the Pin Cluster Pokemon too. In Cerulean City, I'll go see Misty first, since I'd quite like her TM. And since I don't have any moves for water types, I default to Barb Barrage, which easily takes down Staryu in 2. Starmie outspeeds me with a Tackle, and Barb Barrage is okay, but wait, Bug trumps Psychic too, right? Pin Missile? Hey, that's not bad. For Pin Missile anyway. Oh, okay, fine, I'll go see John first instead. After I get this rare candy, of course. Pidgeotto goes for the cheeky quick attack, and then I pretty much Barb Barrage through the rest of this battle. No trouble whatsoever. I go all the way up to Bill, and by the time I return for my badge, Overqwil is at level 22. Skipping to Starmie, Pin Missile misses its mark. I should mention its accuracy is only 85%. The next one lands, and it's not bad, but I decide to try out Barb Barrage, and it's probably slightly better here. Now I have it poisoned, but either way, one more and that's job done. I get the TM for Bubble Beam, which is a nice upgrade for Water Gun. Fighting this innocent bystander, I get to use Pin Missile again, for Drowsy. Honestly, I thought that Overqwil would be great against Psychic types after it got Crunch, but it's doing really well already. Sailor John, Barb Barrage for Pidgeotto and Raticate, and let's try Pin Missile on Kadabra. Whoa! Wow. Wow, that is just... wow. Okay, with John out of the way, it's time to fight Lt.Surge. Voltorb, Barb Barrage, down in 1, and that's level 26, and it learns to Crunch. And this is a slightly Gen 1 take on Crunch that puts it somewhat in line with the move Psychic, details in the doobly-doo. Now, Dark moves are calculated with the special stat, not attack, so Pin Missile may actually still be the better move for Psychic types. I guess we'll find out later. Okay, Surge was easy. TM24, won't be using that today. As with the previous run, Rock Tunnel is illuminated. I hope you don't mind, but there are bats in here. Jumping ahead to the Rock Tunnel hiker, Overqwil gets to prove it actually is a fish, despite not being water type. Bubble Beam makes short work of his entire rock collection, before any of them have chance to explode. At level 29, Overqwil tries to learn Sludge, which hits slightly harder than Barb Barrage and has a higher chance to inflict poison as well, but Barb Barrage can also do double damage. I was thinking of having Sludge as an extra poison move, but the coverage I have now is so good, I think I'll just skip it. I get the Ice Beam TM on the Celadon Mart roof, and also grab some Calcium for a special boost. This works by strengthening Overqwil's teeth, making Crunch hit harder. Now with Pin Missile, and also Ice Beam in my bag just in case, I'm feeling pretty darn good about Erica's gym, so I'll head there. And if I'm not much mistaken, I think Pin Missile does 4 times damage on Weeble and Bob here. The damage is certainly very good. Alright, let's shoot pins at Erica's Victory Bell. Not bad. Not bad. Oh, not bad at all. More pins for Tangela. Not quite as good. Vileplume. Alright. Next up is Giovanni, and naturally, I start off with Bubble Beam on his Onix, and the same for Rhyhorn. I have nothing super effective for Kangaskhan, but basically, anything will do here, and Overqwil makes short work of that too. Against Spooky John, I try out Crunch, and Humpty Dumpty has a great fall. And Kadabra doesn't like it either. Barb Barrage goes critical on Wartortle, and the battle is won. Crunch comes in handy for the channelers here too, as it's super effective against ghosts. It then continues to be useful against the many Psychic types in the Poison type gym. At level 37, Overqwil learns Waterfall, but rather than using that, I decide to teach it Surf, which is actually the best water move it can learn. Against Koga, I do a little test of Crunch versus Pin Missile. There's probably not much in it, so I think I'll stick with Crunch. Here's Wheezing, I go for a Crunch, and it misses. Wheezing self-destructs, but Overqwil refuses to join in. That's badge number 5. I get the TM for Toxic, which is my trump card if I need it, but for now, it can chill with my other items. I think I'll get the badges in order today, so Sabrina is next. But first, I need to fight some crime. But Johnny 5 has been promised Viridian Gym, and blocked my path on the orders of Giovanni. That's my theory anyway. Barb Barrage for Pidgeot, and it's poisoned. It retaliates with Whirlwind, and we seal the deal with a double power second shot. Alakazam is a delicious crunchy treat, Overqwil's favourite. Barb Barrage poisons Blastoise, and it bites me. Are you sure you want to do that? And a double power shot to finish it off. I shoot pins at Giovanni. And now for the true test of Dark type in Gen 1. Sabrina. Except, I forgot to heal up, so I can only use Crunch 7 times. First Crunch hits very hard, and Overqwil gets to show off its immunity. Now I'll finish it off with Surf to protect Fishy's teeth. Same thing again for Mr. Mime. Crunch isn't super effective on Venomoth, but I use it twice and it does the trick. So I have 3 left for Alakazam. Alakazam outspeeds me with a Psywave, which apparently ignores immunity, and Crunch knocks off just under half. Now I switch to Pin Missile in the hopes that it will hit many times, but after only 3 pins, Alakazam is still standing. I prepare to Crunch, and Alakazam hits with another Psywave, knocking off a random amount of 7 HP. And with that, Sabrina is defeated. Moving swiftly along to today's random facts. While the Titanic was infamously sunk by an iceberg, its sister ship, the HMHS Britannic, was wrecked by an Overqwil, somewhere near the island of Kea. It was in fact the largest vessel ever sunk by a naval mine. While sea mines are edible, great care must be taken in their preparation, as parts of the flesh are highly toxic. Hang on, did I get that right? There are more than 120 different species of pufferfish, but only 2 kinds of quillfish. Can we have some more please, Game Freak? Maybe Overqwil counts as number 3. Ooh, a critical Surf on Rapidash. Surf does less than half on Arcanine, but it's using Raw, so not too worried. I'll try a Barb Barrage, and it's poisoned. Super Potion, that's fine. Can do a double power Barb Barrage now, and take the win with full HP. Giovanni? Surf is the obvious choice for Rhyhorn. Same for Dugtrio, but it goes for Dig first. Okay, that's fine. Not fine. Not fine. What was that? Wow. Now I can't afford to take a single attack, and oh dear. That's a bummer. Round 2. Let's try again, and Dugtrio digs again. Slightly less damage this time. Oh no. Bedtime Lucky? Ugh. So it seems I need to outspeed Dugtrio, and having looked up its stats, I think there might be quite a big gap, so I'm using 6 of the 9 rare candies I've collected, and let's see what happens. Right, at level 50, thankfully, we do outspeed. That's a relief. Against the Nidos, I go for Surf. Possibly could have gone for Pin Missile here, but oh well, as long as nobody digs a hole. Finally, Rhydon. 1 Surf, and it's done. Now, as we move into the next portion of the game, it only seems right to change up the music. For the time being, I'm not going to change my moveset. It's served me pretty well so far, but I do still have Ice Beam and Toxic just in case I need them. Crunch is exceptional. Wait, what? Who wrote this? Thankfully, Overqwil never gets fed up of eating Alakazams. Seriously, who wrote this? Barb Barrage crits on Blastoise, its Hydro Pump misses, and after another Barb Barrage, there's the mighty Retroactive Potion. I go for Surf accidentally, but luckily, it crits. John 6 done with full HP. Maybe I changed the music too soon. Having arrived at the Indigo Plateau, I bid farewell to my band of merry H-men. I have 3 rare candies left, but I think I'll hang on to them for now and see how it goes. Dugong rests up, but that is perfect since it's double damage even against sleeping Pokemon. And finish off with a Crunch to save PP. Cloyster is built like a tank, so I go for a Crunch, which crits, and its Aurora Beam isn't much to talk about at all. Slowbro and Jinx both have Psychic typing, so Crunch, 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 Pin Missile, and Lapras. Barb Barrage, I guess? Ah, not Blizzard. Let's try that again. This time, it goes for Body Slam, so at least its moves are random. I am going to need to hit it quite a few times though. Hydro Pump misses. Then we get the poison. Bit late though. Hydro Pump hits. If I can just survive this. Ha! 3 HP. Crunch to finish. There we go. Bruno's up next. 1 Surf for each of his Onyxes, and I try the same for the Hitmons, and it falls a little bit short on Hitmonchan and quite a bit short on Hitmonlee. Then I poison Machamp with Barb Barrage 1, but thanks to its X-Defend, it's still standing after the second shot. Not a problem. Pin Missile! Okay. Well, never mind. Now I'll use an Elixir before fighting Agatha. Gengar tries to eat Overqwil's dreams while it's wide awake. It gets confused, but thankfully, it still remembers how to eat ghosts. Now, there's not much to say about Golbat, Haunter and Arbok, other than that they were apparently a very tasty treat. Onto that final Gengar, and Crunch does about half. Gengar strikes back with a Confuse Ray. I then take confusion damage, and it seems excessively a lot. Is that a sentence? One more crunch. Who you gonna call? Now feels like a good time to learn Ice Beam. I could also go for Blizzard, but let's try Ice Beam. So with a heavy heart, I retired the MVP move of this run. Pin Missile. Thank you, Pin Missile. It's been an absolute pleasure. Also, might as well use the last 3 rare candies. Ooh, Self-Destruct. Not particularly useful in a solo run. Okay, on to Lance, and Gyarados is the only Pokemon I don't really have a good move for, so once again I'll default to Barb Barrage. Okay, that was good. Poisoned it too. And it goes for Leer, which fails. One more to finish it off. Right, this should be easy now. Ice Beam for the dragon. Not good enough, eh? Okay, one more beam then. Next Dragonair. That's a crit. Aerodactyl, I think I'll stick with Ice Beam. And it's outspeeding me as usual. Maybe I should have gone for Blizzard after all. Then again, with the lower accuracy, I'm not so sure. Ooh, that takedown hurt. This is really not ideal for battling Dragonite. An Ice Beam's not going to be enough. Hyper Potion? Well, all I can do is beam and pray. Barrier! You're just letting me win. Thanks, I guess. Right, champion time. Ice Beam crit to ground the Pidge. Crunchy crunchy Mr. Spoons. Crunch again. Wet the Rhydon. Wet the doggy. Leer! This is a champion battle. Stop using Leer. Crunch the eggs. Critical crunch. And Hypnosis fails. Blastoise! The sea mine versus the turtle. Actually, it sounds really one-sided when you put it that way. So, Barb Barrage isn't great here, but it's also not terrible. I'm just hoping we can finish this before it uses Blizzard. Almost? Ah, full restore. I'm surprised it hasn't tried a Blizzard yet. Ooh, critical hit. Oh, that was lucky. Another crit would be nice. Never mind. Hydro Pump, can we tank it? Haha! Nobody messes with my fish. And that's it. Overqwil completes the game at level 60 in 3 hours and 56 minutes. Now, while I just try to improve my Brock time, let's return to the question of this video. Firstly, this probably speaks for how good Overqwil was, but at no point was I ever forced to use Barb Barrage to its full potential. What I mean by that is that I never actually taught it Toxic. By poisoning with Toxic first, and then going for double power Barb Barrages, Overqwil has the potential for enormous attack power, beyond what was required for even the toughest battles in the game. The only real sticking point was a random Dugtrio, and it came out with a time similar to the legendary Pokemon Raging Bolt. The time could actually be even less, as I was able to defeat Brock over 11 minutes faster by utilising Pin Missile at just level 9. So, is this Pokemon Overqwil? Yes it is. It's ridiculous, and I love it. For those of you that are still with me at this point in the video, firstly, thanks! I really appreciate you dropping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Secondly, if you're new here, I wonder if I could trouble you to check something for me. Somewhere on your screen or under the video, it's going to have my channel name, Porygondolier, with a number under it. If, and only if, the number happens to still be under 1,000, it means that I have not yet qualified for monetization. Regardless of your next action, YouTube is probably going to put my videos on your homepage, but if you unleash Pin Missile on that big shiny subscribe button, you'll be helping me out tremendously on my YouTube journey. No pressure if you'd rather not, the choice is yours and yours alone. I look forward to welcoming you back to another video soon. For now, bye!